We're gonna move on to a little game, Rosie. Take it or leaf it.
Is it time
I
for
was
this
told
again? I like this
this
segment.
is it. I got 3 for you here, okay, buddy?
Hit me
So
with the
first
first
one, you kinda hit it up earlier. So Alex Nylander will not get claimed when he's inevitably put on waivers.
Yeah, I'm going to so it's worded weird. I'm pretty sure Nick worded that. He will not get claimed. I'm going to take that and not leave it. I'm going to take it. I think he clears waivers. Anyone from the beginning of last year could have had this guy, and nobody took him. He didn't sign with anybody. He was sitting with an American League contract throughout all the time that up to this point in time where he signed with the Leafs. He could have gone anywhere. Someone could have snipped him up and said, "I'll take you." You're only on waivers for 24 hours. The timing of that, the Leafs are usually pretty strategic about. It comes and goes quickly. Teams got lots going on and different cap situations and contract and their own stuff going on. For little Alex Steves to get thrown on waivers from 12 noon at this time to 12 noon tomorrow, I think it's highly unlikely that someone's like, we absolutely need to pull the trigger on this one. I think he'll sneak down and get to the minors and continue his journey down there, and we'll see what happens in the future.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it's one of those things. Teams don't miss on guys like this, right? It's not, yes, he put up some points in Columbus and he had some goals, and there's a reason why he wasn't signed immediately. So, on to the next one here. Take it or leave it. The Leafs will add another blue liner now and the trade deadline.
Mm, I kind of think, I mean, I would like them to add, positive and I'd love them to add bodies that make sense and that are effective everywhere. But I just think realistically, I think they need to focus on the center position and their bottom six depth. And if any deals get done, I think it's going to be in that position. I think that would suit them the best. I don't see their D being a problem right now. I think they're as good as they ever have. I think the OEL and Tanev effect is has been as effective as you ever could have asked for. Like you talk about, the defenseman earlier in that segment, and that's Tanev to me. You used to see guys get into trouble and get pressure, and they would dump their problems on other people. That's snowballed on everyone. It's a recipe for D zone time and scrambling and getting hemmed into your own end. It's a nightmare, and they just haven't been there this year. And it's I think a lot of it comes to Tanev. He's a guy that doesn't get a lot of accolades for the way he plays, but if they do something special, you're going to look back and say, "Holy smokes, was Tanev ever a big part of that?" So I just think it's hard to add, and it's hard to make deals, and hard to pull triggers, and hard to do things at the deadline that makes sense because it's got to make a lot of sense for someone at the other end of things. And when a team that's going well and at the top of their division, I think you're going to be hesitant to break that up in order to sweeten the deal for whoever's on the other side to get something in return. So I think the forward position is what they're going to have to address, and I think I'll leaf it on the D trading, even though it would be ideal to add another great stud defenseman. I just don't think it's realistic. You?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it too. I just think at this point, it's it's too tricky right now to mess with what's working. Yes, I think at the trade deadline maybe, but I think right now is not the play. I think right now is about getting guys healthy, getting Hawk and Paul back in there, getting some players back into like, kind of see what they can do, right? They've been off for a bit. And I just think it's moving in the right direction right now. You need depth for sure. But the main thing is, you look at that McCabe and Tanev pairing have been so good. I think that is just sets the table for everything for this lineup. The main thing is going to be health, I think, for them moving forward. So, on to the next one here for you. Take it or leave it. More than one Maple Leaf will be selected to Team Canada's Four Nations team.
I'm going to take it. I think Mitch Marner is a shoe in, obviously. I think they've got him kind of slotted first line right wing there. And then it kind of gets, I start to think, well, obviously there's the other guys, but they're Americans and they're Swedes, and it doesn't really add up. But if you go down a little ways, I think that Tanev needs to be on that team. I know there's been guys that are kind of having hiccups, but they're kind of big names like I think Bouchard, for example, kind of been struggling. And how many of these guys do you need? And do you want to build? Are you just putting together a popularity contest with, high draft picks and this and that, and every guy's the same type of player? Are you trying to build a hockey team conducive to winning this type of tournament? And if you are, I think you need guys like Tanev. I mean, we've talked about it this show. He's so rock solid. He's so good defensively. He's got the grit. He's got that gumption back there to get into the dirty areas and play any style of hockey you need. And when I just watch him I watch them take away his time and space, and there's not an ounce of panic. He always makes the smart play. He's just a defensive defenseman to a T, and I've been nothing but impressed with him this year, and I think he would be a good addition to that Team Canada. Whether he's the seventh guy or not, we'll have to see how things shake out, but I think he should be on that roster and an option for Team Canada.
Yeah, it's a really good. I'm gonna leaf this one. I leave it because I just think that there's just too many guys that have that role. It's gonna be a dogfight, and I get what you're saying. I'm so with it. But if I'm the Toronto Maple Leafs, the last thing I want is Chris
Hmm.
Tanev to make this team. The
I
last thing I want him to be rested and taking a break and away from it. I want him to have a tweak. I want him to have a tweak as the last game before something goes in, and he can say he can't go, because of the fact of the matter is they're going to need miles and a lot of work out of this guy. He's got to play a lot of minutes. And I'm with you on the Bouchard take. I think he's out of the lineup because you already have Cale Makar. He's going to run your first power play, right? Other than that, you need guys that are going to have to play with depth. So I could see Tanev being that seventh guy. I can make an argument for Uyghur. I can make an argument for Colton Parayko. There's a lot of different bodies that can fit in that lineup. But for the Leafs, Marner's going to be a shoe-in, and I think that's enough. Even Morgan Riley, I think he's a long shot just with the way that the D is going to be structured. But
Yeah, me too.
if I'm the Leafs, man, I just want him to go rest, get ready, because we're going to need you come down the stretch time. So
I can't argue with that either, man. I don't mind if anyone's on that thing. We know what the end game is, and we know what problems we can get in with that time of the year. So if guys are healthy and get that rest, I'm totally for it.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.